Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. It is so nice to have you back for another reading vlog and just like a week of my life vlog. Not too much reading happens on this one. I do finish a book though, which is exciting. So we will be talking about that later. But first there's just gonna be some clips of my gardening and some things that I have done this week. Just a little bit of backstory. I think I've showed some of my gardening in here before, but I am very new to gardening and I don't know much at all. But I find it really fun and really satisfying, and I just want to do more to try to grow my own food. So I do have that shown in this week's vlog a little bit. And one thing that we did is me and Hunter, my husband, moved 2 of our raised garden beds to the side area of our house where we feel like it gets a little bit more sun. And I tried, a technique I've seen online of doing the raised beds and then doing cardboard at the bottom of the bed, then doing some sticks and twigs and things like that, because that will decompose over time. And then you also have shown me doing pine straw on top of that. We have plenty of that in our yard. Jesus, we have a ton of pine trees in our yard, so that was not hard to find. And then leaves and things like that. And then we have a layer of compost. So I have been backyard composting for, I would say, probably about a year now, but I have never used it. It's just been kind of collecting, and I use a tumbling compost, which I have a little clip of later. And so I will collect it in this thing that I have underneath my kitchen sink area. And every so often, I'll go and dump it in the compost, the tumbler, and you will put the food scraps. And not everything is compostable, so you do have to do some research before you start to kind of know what's compostable and what's not. But food waste is such a big issue in our country, so I try to do as little as I can to help reduce that. So the greenhouse gases that are caused by food waste in our landfills is absolutely insane. Do some research into what that means and what that can do over time. Again, I'm not an expert. I just watch a lot of people who are very passionate about it and some environmentalists here on YouTube. So definitely do your own research about that. Obviously, it's not possible for everyone. I just do as much as I can within a reasonable, request. So then I do the compost, and I then do the dirt topsoil on top, and then I kind of mix it together with the rake, which you'll see. And then I plant a couple plants. So I have some sweet potato, cucumber, and tomatoes. I try to be realistic about what I plant and if I'm going to eat it. I would hate to go through all this effort and get a bunch of for example, jalapenos. I think that's a great thing to grow, but I really don't eat them unless I am eating them in salsa. So I just don't feel like that would be a thing that I should grow and have a lot of and not use and then end up having to waste. But whatever fits you and your family. So I have 2 on the side area of my house that is in today's video, and I also show the other 2 that are on the other side. So I'm just kind of testing out what works, what does better. So yeah, I will say when you do the composting, especially when I have mine on Amazon, I'll link it in my Amazon storefront, which is always in the description if you have any questions about anything that I've used. So that is pretty easy. It has 2 little sides, and I will put the scrap bag and then I'll add equal parts, I just eyeball it, of dry brown leaves in pine straw in with that, and then you tumble it a few times, and you tumble it a couple times a week outside, and it doesn't smell. I never have an issue with it smelling. So just something that look into and see. There's so many different forms of composting, literally so many. So this is not becoming a sustainability channel. I just like to talk about the things that I like to try and do to make the world a better place, just a tiny bit at a time, as little tiny bit as I can. And maybe you have questions about it, so just let me know. saw while we were on the cruise. The reading, I was like, oh, I want to read that. Oh, wow, very nice. Aww. Aww. Wow, such a little. Aww. This one's got cute stuff too. I need to step my game up for it. Hey guys, thanks for checking out another vlog. So today is Thursday. I'm getting ready to go into work. I have a later shift today. I finished a book today, yay! I finished A Very Large Expanse of Sea by Tahereh Mafi. So sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but I did not realize she's also the author who wrote the Shatter Me series, which I haven't read, but I know is very well liked in the book talk community and Bookstagram, that sort of thing. So I enjoyed this one. However, I just think I'm not the right audience for it. I do love that we're getting the voice of a Muslim girl, not long after the tragedy of 9/11 and how that affects her life, especially coming of age in this time, and the way that she's treated and the racism there. And very important discussions happen in this book. It's just very much a YA book. It's very much a coming of age, very young romance, that sort of thing. Again, nothing wrong with that. It's just not really what I'm looking for right now in my reading journey. So because of that, I feel like it's hard to rate it for me. But it was a good book. I definitely would still recommend it. I think it's very important. And I really wanted to read more diversely this year. So I wanted to read from some different perspectives and from some different types of authors. So I am glad I read it, just not really for me personally. I sold 2 books on Pango Book, so I am currently packing them up to send out. If you don't have Pango Books, this is not sponsored, but I love it. These books are just ones that I read and didn't love enough to keep, so I am sending them off to their new home. Thank you all for checking out this week's vlog, and we will catch you next time. Bye!